Okay, it is recording. So, you guys already see, we didn't know. He's going to tell us about switching lemmas and technology for the formula. And
Hi everyone. Yeah, so I guess something might you might have heard of switching lemma, but not. Criticality is not that popular. Yeah, I'm guessing he is not quite a switching lemma. Okay, I'll go over everything. Yeah, I'll be defining criticality towards the end of the talk. Yeah, and yeah, it will be a 2-second talk this week, and there will be one on Tuesday. For today, I'll talk a little bit about switching lemma, very famous of the clarity is not in particular little bit. Then we'll see Hastad switching lemma and Hastad's recent proof of it. Which is quite nice. And then proof have this switching lemma will be rather and another switching lemma to Ben Rossman, which therefore I think that's called the Entropic Switching. And towards then we'll see what criticality is. And then I'll do some setup for our paper, which shall be presented. That's the plan. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, the complex area is interested in improving lower bounds for computational models. And yeah, a very interesting result, lower bound result and conditional unconditional lower bound result. This is the result of that parity is not in 0. So I will define what these terms are. So let me begin by defining what a circuit is. Circuit is obviously a natural model of computation where natural graphical model of computation. It's a directed acyclic graph. There are no cycles here. And yeah, and it computes a function naturally. The function computed by this node is and of these two. And the function computed by this node is and of its inputs and so on. So that's cyclics. These are directed acyclic graphs where nodes are labeled by ands and ors, and some nodes by nots. And it is computed Boolean model. There are no computation. And related model is formulas. So formulas are just like circuits, just that we're not allowed to reduce the computation of a given node. So here the computation of this node is fed into these two nodes, whereas that cannot happen in formulas. So in the formula underlying graph is a tree. And yeah, this is what a formula looks like. You can see that these two are computing the same function. In fact, this computation you duplicated it here, and this would be yeah. So since this sort of thing is not allowed in formulas, you have to recompute this all over again. I hope this definition of circuits and formulas. I think some of you might be familiar with circuits and formulas. Yeah, so given any circuit, you can always convert it to a formula by duplicating this repeated convolution. Size of the circuit is the number of nodes that you have, and depth of the circuit is the length of the longest route to the path in this. So if you have a circuit of size S and depth D, this is something which you can try to do by redoing this computation in this manner. You can convert it to a formula.
This depth D. Depth D.
Depth D.
In the circuit.
Yeah. If you're starting with a circuit of size S and depth D, if you convert it to a formula, you would get a S coordinate size formula of depth D. This is something this is an exercise to do, and this yeah, this comes up in this work again and again. Yeah, and the other thing I was talking about here is parity. So what is parity?
Just looking at binary gates? No.
Yeah. Okay. For now, these inputs. No, I'm not looking at binary gates. Yeah, it just happened that I drew a binary gate. Yeah. This would be more. Yeah, so I would denote place to 0. D to be sided. Then we from circuits which have side atmospheres, and then this denotation will be used for this. So the kind of this function here. So parity on n bits is a function on bits. It just computes from all these bits more. And yeah, so what this statement essentially is saying is small size circuits cannot compute that much. And get to the precise statement. Yeah, so how do you go about doing such a thing? So you have some technical model, you have a function, you want to show that such an object if it's small, it cannot compute such function. So the idea, the approach here is random restriction or restrictions. Okay, so here we have a circuit. So suppose you have an AND gate. So this AND gate, if you set any of the bits to 0, it just simplifies your circuit, right? And similarly, or if you set any of its bits to 1, it simplifies to 1. By just setting one bit, you can just kill this. So this is a circuit which is made of such by composing one. It's conceivable that by setting a few bits, they get killed. Whereas parity, I mean, you set n minus 2 bits or n by 2 bits, it still remains a parity on n by 2 bits. I mean, this thing is better. I mean, this thing, doesn't get affected by restrictions. This thing seems like it's very sensitive to restriction. Okay. So idea is to find a restriction such that this guy gets still that gets survived, then we'll be able to show that these two are not. Right. So how do we go about doing this? The natural thing to do is pick a restriction randomly and see what happens. Turns out that works. Okay. I will define what random means, and I will also define what restriction means. Restriction is nothing but a partial limit. Okay. You have variable segment and restriction we know is a map from this set to 0 number star. So what does that mean? You are setting some bits to 0, you are setting some of these variables to 0, some of them to 1, and some of them you are not setting. You are leaving them as is. Okay, this is a solution. Okay, we can think of it as a partial input. Okay, that's our restriction. Yeah. So what is a random restriction? So we are interested in a specific kind of random restriction. I call this RT. This is I use this notation for the generating process, the random variable, and the distribution as well. So what does this RT do? For each variable xi, it independently sets it to 0, 1, or star, give you coordinates. So it goes to each variable and tosses the coin and then decides whether it's star, 0, or 1 independently. That's how you generate a random restriction. So these are the kind of random restrictions we'll be interested in the rest of the talk. Yeah, so the goal is, so our original goal was to find a restriction such that remains as a tree and this gets tree. Okay. So now we have fine. It's clear that when you apply a restriction, random restriction, this still remains hard because if you apply such a restriction on expectation, Pn variables survive, and this remains a parity of Pn variables or negation of parity. Whereas we somehow want to say that this gets simplifies when you apply a random restriction. Okay. And switching lemma is exactly a statement of that type. Switching lemma says that if you apply a random restriction to formulas or circuits of some special kind, it's different. That's what the switching lemma is. Okay. So I'll get to a precise definition of switching lemma in a moment. I guess so far everything is fine. I hope the definition of circuit, formula, and the restriction material, and the random restriction procedure is also here. Okay. Now we have to formalize what is the notion of what do we mean by when we say cyclic simplifies? Does it become a variable? What I mean by it? One notion and the notion which was considered in the picture is using this deficient rules. So what are deficient rules? So deficient rules are just a graphical representation of variables. You have a function. You're querying bits of this function, and you want to say what is the output of this function. Okay. You want to query some of those bits, and then you want to say, depending on what those variables are, you want to see what the value of the function is. And that's a query algorithm. You can graphically write it using the deficient. Suppose you query x1, it turns out to be 0, then you probably query x3, it turns out to be a 1, you probably query x2, and this one will probably the answer. If it's 1, it's not 1, probably query some other variables. It's a tree where nodes are labeled by variables which are queried, and the leaves are labeled by 0 to 1, which correspond to the answer when you query this set of variables. So at this point it might be a little bit confusing between formula and resistant tree. Formulas are also trees, resistant trees are also trees, right? But yeah, I think if you're looking at them for the first time, you'll probably get confused between these. Both are completely confused. Right. And the side of the resistant tree is just the number of nodes. And again, the depth of the resistant tree is the length of the longest group to be found. Okay. Now we are in a good shape to say switching lemma. Yeah, informally I said that switching lemma is that if you apply a random restriction to circuits or formula, switching lemma just says that random restrictions simplify circuits and formulas. So let me formalize that. Circuit or formula. And step 2 doesn't make a difference whether it's circuit or formula. Of weight W. So this what are the density circuit or formula with W look like? It essentially look like and where each of these is and is on W letters. It's either it could be or at the top or it should have. And at the top and You build W just equals to the number of X feeding into this bottom.
You say about this. Oh, if you put it in accounts equation from area and from the form.
Yeah, this is that.
It's allocated configuration.
Huh?
Negation configurations.
Okay. No, I'm not combinations. I mean, without loss of data, you can always assume that negations are at the leaves. Yeah, I think again that's a fun exercise to do. These are all, I mean, if you're starting out, you can to play with. Yeah, so yeah, this is what I have. This is a formula of which W looks like. And switching lemmas is going to be our F, which is that 2, and with W says if you take a random restriction according to RT, then the definition we get for this restricted function. This is what I mean by this. I mean, this rule is a partial input. You are applying this partial input to the function. You get a sub function of it.
There should be some time bound, right?
No, that's a surprising
If
part.
it's W, it doesn't matter. But
It doesn't matter what this is.
oh, it's gonna depend on W.
Yeah, that is one of the surprising parts of this machine.
It all depends on. I see, but there's only like I mean, the width doesn't give you a bound, right? Because there's only n variables, so there's only like n true doubly possible.
Yeah.
Guys, so n true doubly like the number on the side.
Yeah, thinking about say if you pick this random restriction according to this RT and apply it to a function which is of this kind, it's definitely there. Will be small type of it. Another way of looking at it is the probability that the restriction that is large is finite. How can you give to me? Yeah. So when you take a function that is at W random restriction. The typology. I mean, if my English is not clear or if I'm speaking too fast,
Yeah, if you follow.
you should.
If you're not understanding something,
So decision tree size does not come into this, right? The decision tree size.
No, this switching lemma doesn't talk about decision trees, but you can derive bounds from decision trees.
Yeah, but I'm saying that so we don't really need to think of it as this kind of a graphical decision tree. Like we can, what we're saying is you just apply the switching lemma, and then with just T queries, I'll just look at T bits adaptively, and I'll know what the output function is. That's how easy the functions become.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you are saying there is, I mean, I think you're trying to say is there is a way of querying T variables which is it?
There is an adaptive way of.
Yeah, that is weaker than this, right? That is say one of the leaves of the branches of the decision tree is small.
No, I'm saying that there is an, I mean, there is a query algorithm. I'm just wondering whether this depiction as a tree is important, or is it, I mean, I can just think of it as the simplicity is just that in general, if I take a W2 circuit, I might need to look at each input in order to find out what the output is. But here it's saying after this restriction, with high probability, most of the inputs will be irrelevant. Just with T adaptive inputs, I can find out what the output is. And
most of the inputs will be relevant, not exactly. Right?
yeah, not relevant. Yeah, all the inputs that might be relevant. It's just that once I see the first input, whether it's 0 or 1, I will know which one to check next. And then within T and that.
Okay, yeah, this is Bodil Prize winning work of Hastad. So, and it's, yeah, I think it's built on, I think this is, I think restriction based methods, I think Hastad is not the first one. I think there are people before Hastad who looked at restriction based methods and I first that TIFR and yeah, 18. I think they were able to show super polynomial lower bounds. I think probably Hastad was the first one to show exponential lower bounds. Yeah, but there were works which were based on restriction based and they were able to separate parity and zero circuits, but not this much separation. So I will not do this immediately. I'll just show some applications of this, couple of applications of this, and then we'll look at it. Yeah, so the first thing, here is a nice problem to think about. Suppose you have a so what are DNF? I'll be using DNF and CNF very often. So what are DNFs and CNFs? The DNF is something which reflects so that is it with R at the top, hands at the bottom. That's a DNF. And similarly, DNF is something this. And above and also, here these would be variables or negations of variables. I would both variables and negations of variables, the combined term is for them as returns. And by the way, so and of letters is a term, and all of letters is a block. These are terms which I might be using. The question is, okay, suppose before getting to AC0 and all that, so can DNS compute pi? How large should a DNF be to compute pi? Okay. So show that for DNF have for this size. DNF require n-1 to compute that. This is again something nice to do. And we'll be using this in one of our applications. I think now we are all set to look at the proof of that parity is not an AC0. We will just pretend.
Let me tell you what the border of that is on the
No, but you have like an arm with those.
something like
It's a little more than that.
yes, that's maybe not
Not completely.
maybe a little less.
Okay. Yeah. And after looking into our why it's called a switching lemma. Right? I mean, the lemma is something like this. And why would anyone look at this and call it switching lemma? What's switching about? Yeah, so it will be clear because of application. Yeah, so want to say AC0 circuits simplify and apply an analysis. So how do we analyze AC0 circuits when under analysis? So firstly, I'm going to assume that the circuit is something which looks like this. It could I'm going to assume that circuits are layered. What do I mean by layered circuits? You can partition the this probably an abstract numerical circuit. So we can partition the nodes of the circuit into layers. Okay, there are several nodes in the circuit. You can partition them into layers. Such that all the such that nodes in each layer have the same distance from the loop. Okay. All these nodes will have the same distance from the loop. And furthermore, if one of these gates is an AND, all of them are ANDs. Right? Each layer is going to be a
Form a circuit into that form without
Yeah, yeah.
making anything grow, right? It's not that every circuit is open.
no. This is the layered circuit. Layered circuit is going to look like this. So what is a layered circuit? Layered circuit looks like this, where you can partition all the nodes of the circuit into layers, and each layer is just ith layer is all the nodes which are at distance I from the loop, and we expect that all the nodes in a given layer have are either all ANDs or all ORs. Yeah. That's a layer circuit. Now the claim is given any circuit, you can convert it into a layers. With twice. You see, I mean, it's not a circuit again. Okay, given a circuit like that, how do you convert it to a layered circuit? These are at distance 1 from the loop. This is layer 1 of the circuit. This is layer 1 of the circuit. Unfortunately, there are 2 ORs and an AND. Right? What do we do about this? We will introduce a dummy OR. Student over. Yeah, we will introduce a dummy OR gate of arity 1 and push this one layer. At the most for each gate, you must have introduced one more. So maximum size it will at in the worst case get done. Okay. Okay. So let's resolve the idea that the circuit given is layered. And what are we going to do with it? Yeah. So we are going to apply the switching lemma. So in the bottom layer, we are going to have a bunch of, let's say, ANDs. Okay. This is the bottom layer. This is just one layer above the bottom layer. And let's just say these are all ORs. And also these ANDs and ORs are coming. Yeah, this is the bottom layer. So this guy looks like DNF. Okay. There are a bunch of DNF sitting at the bottom. Maybe, right? And when you see a DNF, immediately you can apply switching lemma to them. You might not be able to get apply switching lemma to the entire sector, but you'll be able to apply switching lemma to the DNFs. But not so fast. Before applying switching lemma to this bottom DNFs, something we need to do. I mean, for now, these hands should be arbitrarily large. We don't have any control on all our variables. But for all you know, this hand has all the variables. So first step is to apply a random restriction with R1 with this parameter. What do I mean by that? RT is the random restriction with parameter P. So I set that parameter 1/100 and generate a random restriction, let's say ρ1. And my claim is if you apply this random restriction, if you have a large hand like this, so if any of this variable gets set to a 0, this gets taken. And if there's a large hand and there are too many variables, I mean, one of them is bound to set to get. So large hands get taken. And you can do the calculation, but this is going to do it. Right. Yeah, so the thing is that okay. Let's call this entire thing that f is to ρ1 and yeah, bottom layer of that is to ρ1 as RT. RT is the number of bytes less than wait, yes. Wait, less than plus. I mean, we can. Sorry.
You use one by twice.
Why
That vice versa. That as an example. Okay.
Yeah, it could have been like, and it could have been anything else also, right? 1 by 100.
yeah. It could have been any large constant. I'm not specifically 1 by 20 or 1 by 200. Some constant like this.
With probability.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to read this book, there's a lecture note by Derandomization which is very nice. Yeah, these are parameters. If there's no, you should ask it.
Wait, so are we assuming? So we're assuming something about the number of inputs in the bottom layer just being like at most S. Love that.
So S would be the size of that.
Yeah, it's a yeah. An upper bound on this is the size of the entire circuit, and that's
all.
yeah, it's included. The genesis. Yeah, so like this log is to be log of log is I'll be very useful log. Something already. So
the same but in there it's a sum random variable.
No, it's E the and he doesn't need the variables. The and just above the variable. These are bottom layer is not the literal, is the and.
It's between.
yeah. Technically, I would call this as a bottom layer. I'm calling this up. Sorry.
Using
What he's saying is that if you have a large n,
Yes.
then with very high probability,
Which
they,
I mean,
no,
you should right.
No, I didn't write the statement, precise statement.
But we should write something there, so that's not the claim.
so with a high probability,
yeah.
over the choice of row one,
Yeah.
so with high probability, with the choice of row one. X simplifies in the circuit, and X simplifies. Let's call F prime here, F1. F prime. Where all the ends in the bottom layer have with the most log.
What is this?
That's it, the sign of that.
Yeah, that is the question.
Looks like social.
Yeah, the F when we started with the side there and there. Sorry, right?
And right, so in particular, you have at most S gates in the bottom of it, right? Now, if you have a large gate, what's the probability that it survives when you restrict some of its variables, like exponentially small in the width? Right? So if it's more than log S, then you know, probably.
And yeah, in this script we did this because switching lemma has this, you would want this to be small, right? And okay, yeah, you first take this circuit with a random resistance with this current. That will make sure that the restricted circuit has bottom line in log S, or and in the bottom layer in log S. Then what we do is then we start applying switching. Now we have these several DNF settings sitting here. Each of them have width log S. Right? Now we apply switching lemma to each of the games. Right? And with what parameters? Right. So we have width log S. And I will take one particular data from this. Let's solve with G. G has a width log S. So how am I going to apply it in your code? So I will apply R1 by log S. I will take a restriction row. Here we take a row 1. Now we'll take a row 2 from R1 by log S and apply that row 2 to each of these PMs.
Well, one word, channel, guys.
I get it. One more mention this. One more time. For a just to be safe. Yeah, but yeah. Takes my sense. Let's go to yeah, so right, you apply this random from this part on this, and what is the expectation of the that resulting net? our target depth is again log S. So we are asking what is the probability that the depth is going to get larger than log S. So we started with log S DNS. We're hitting with a random restriction with this parameter, and we expect it to have additional depth log S.
What you're saying is now the probability that there exists one of these DNS that has decision tree depth bigger than log S is at most by union bound at most S times 5 global W.
Yeah, then let's plug in this quantity there. So what is going to be? Go back here.
So the probability that there exists one of these DNS that failed to change.
Probability that there is solve layers. One.
Well, I'm worried about now I have to do the D times, so.
Yeah, D minus.
No, whatever, shouldn't you take into account the D when you your. Shouldn't it be log S times log E?
Log S times log E.
So the probabilities you get by the union bound are smaller than 1 by S.
Oh.
Yeah, if you
Log
log
S
this,
guesstimate ensures that.
Oh, it's like 1/100.
So log S cancels out the union bound S, and then it also makes 1 by S.
to plug in the examples here, 5 times 1 by 20 log S times again 2 log S or 4 log S. You are going to get something assuming it's 2 log S. You are going to get 1 by 3. 2 by 2.
So you get like 1/S squared.
Yeah. Yeah, it is probability
Times S. Times S because of the unit.
yeah. The probability that one such gate becomes one such gate has a large decision tree is 1 by S square. The probability that a given G has large that is 1 by S square. And if you ask what is the probability that one of them has larger, well, you know it's certain. Sorry. So what happens? Yeah, what I'm trying to say at the end of all this. If you apply a random restriction with these parameters, with high probability, all of them are going to become decision trees of depth logs. Okay, so let's assume that there is a good case. Nothing happen and then all of them become smaller decision trees. And here is again another nice thing about decision tree is if you have a decision tree, you can convert it to a DNF or a CNF. Summarizing this part. Yeah. If a Boolean function has decision tree depth D, you can get a DNF and a CNF of width. Right. Again, homework. Yeah, these are 9 things to yeah. Then I think they work out do this. Yeah, we are going to use this. So yeah, so at this layer we applied switching lemma with this parameter, and we found out that all of them turned out to be small definition things. So in the layer above, you probably have you have hands. Right. The idea is that each of these layers became smaller decision tree, and since decision trees can be converted to both CNF and DNF of small weight, you will convert this to a CNF, that is and of course. Right. This and is getting fed from DNF. Right. If each of them becomes a and of course after the restriction, what you can do is you can collapse this. Right. So if you have and of a bunch of hands, it's a DNF. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So at the end of it, what are we achieving? By applying this restriction, we took a depth D formula and obtained a depth D minus 1, or depth D circuit and obtained a depth D minus 1 circuit. Right? And we're going to repeat this process some D minus 1 times with so row 1 we sample from 1 by 100. Row 2 we sample from 1 by 20 logs. So row 3 onwards again we sample from 1 by 20 logs.
We need to do the 1 by 100 again.
No.
When these ants combine into a larger.
Oh,
that's happening on the top.
The width is still
Okay.
Then you apply this D minus 1 times. So at the end of it, what happens? I mean, what do I mean by this? So initially you had all variables. You applied a restriction and set some variables. Then you applied row 2 and set some more variables.
But the image is actually that's not the right image, right? Actually, on each step, most of the variables are fixed.
Yes.
So you're left with a little bit, and from that little bit, now you're left with another little bit, and so on. Right. At the beginning, you have 91% left, and then less even.
Okay. Yeah, so at the end of it, we are sequentially applying restrictions to get a one final restriction. Okay. To combine all these together, we'll get one big restriction. Just for that, I will do this notation. This D probably is D. Probably D.
Questions, how many variables are left?
Yeah, the question is, yeah, 2 things. One, how many variables are left? And what happens to you? Yeah, and the first one is okay. I guess if you combine all this together, you would get a mechanism. Rho belongs to R. Another way, if you have rho is rho 1 composed with rho 2, and this is coming from RP1, and this is coming from RP2, then rho is coming from RP1 times P2. Yeah, so when the combined effect of all this is applying one thing is incomplex. So you have n variables and you apply a restriction of this kind. How many variables are there? In expectation, you will get n by 100 degree 20 dollars. These many variables will be there in expectation. And Shankar will tell you that with high probability you will have this. Okay. And okay, that answers this question. Now, what happens to fs equal to rho? Okay. In the first step, after the first step, it became that d minus 1, next it becomes that d. Right. So after d minus 1 step, it becomes a that 2 with logis. Or that 2 with that 2
Yeah.
both. I mean, lemma will give you a decision. And using this fact, you want to say that right?
The sign is covered most bad. That is wrong ever. It's only strong. The sign is only strong.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Why? Because hasn't been wrong.
Sorry.
Why hasn't it wrong?
So I think
Side over.
why the size where I mean we didn't show that the size doesn't increase
Of
during a restriction.
side over side.
Yeah.
I see.
Or maybe it doesn't.
It doesn't matter because the decision tree implicitly means it has size at most, like S log S. If it's a log S step decision tree, it has at most S leaves. And the CNF that you get from this would be like
I think like you don't actually need that. All you need is to show that parity doesn't have decision trees of. Yeah.
Right. You don't need that. Yeah.
You don't need that. So in the end, you get a log S decision tree.
It's
So log right.
Oh, it's like this.
That's log S. Now if we assume that S is less than.
yeah, and you have a parity on n by let's say I'll just know the constant and then by n by log is ready. you have parity on these many bits.
Right.
So this has to be less than lots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
because in the end, I see, so because in the end you have a decision tree of depth log f, right? And you're trying to compute parity on those many bits and by whatever log s to the d.
Right, and this will tell you that. And then, value of by 1 or 2 here
Is that d or d minus
d
one?
minus 1, d minus 2.
Is it d minus one?
Probably d minus 2.
It's from d minus two, why? Because I think, don't people care about this minus one or minus two?
Yeah.
Okay, so but do we care? Are we
I, I think I am waving enough hands that my hand, I'm waving my hand enough that this is not your biggest answer.
Okay, so let's say we don't care about the d plus one. minus
Yeah.
two. Then sure, then this shows that s has to be 2 to the power of n to the 1 of
Something like this.
Right, but you could hope to get a d minus one.
This is the right number,
This is it.
but yeah, I've been very sloppy. Once in
Right, but the same would gives you that number,
yes.
if you're not happy.
Sorry.
No, probably because you only need to do it d minus two, because once you have that two, you're done, right? So if you start with that.
d minus 2, but then you have your initial. Oh, yeah, but log is to the d.
That's it. The one I have.
Yeah. Maybe you get the next.
Okay, that just concludes that why that parity requires circuits of that size this to be computed exactly. Okay. But it's not stopping you from having circuits which compute parity or but on all but 2 inputs. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, so let me take a small break to a small break as like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you can actually keep it right. It's possible that it's- you like. Do a small break.
It's kind of- No, I think, yeah, just stay it. Okay, that's one application of switching.
Is the tightness of this known for parity?
Yes,
This is.
yeah, you can, okay, how do you go about constructing the? Yeah, I think constants here, I think.
Yeah.
You might not do it, right, but.
But
Or probably, yeah.
so if you go to depth 3, then you actually have a size 2 to the square root n circuit for parity. I guess.
I see.
My question.
Okay. Yeah, so in smaller depths, this is the open bound.
Oh,
In
it's not-
depth 3, showing lower bound for parity is.
I see.
Oh, what is it? Say again.
If you want to show lower bound for depth 3, circuits.
Wait, sorry, upper one.
I mean, there is some gap between upper bounds and lower bounds. So this is going to say that,
Oh, I see.
We should do then. You might need size, can you compensate that?
yeah, this gives you. With them,
2 to the.
I think. People probably. Trying to optimize this constant, to the.
So there's probably an upper bound of 2 to the some constant times square root.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really remember like that 3. It was still interested in. So we tried to launch.
Oh. On for formulas, you get a two there, right? Because two to the.
Yeah. That is precisely because of the initial conversion which I told you.
Because of the what, sorry?
So if you take a circuit of size S and depth D and convert it to a formula of size S and depth D. Okay.
So
The blow up is going to be, yeah, if you take it as, the blow up is going to be as per.
If you want.
If you start with the circuit of size S and if you convert it into a formula, the formula which you get will be of size S per. The generic construct. Yeah, so you can say whatever bounds you have for circuits.
You can guess that it's
You
converted
can guess what the right number of formulas is by
by suggesting that this conversion is the best we can do for.
Right.
And sometimes you can do it. Right.
and it is this conversion is correct. Yeah, it is correct.
It's right for some functions, but maybe it's not for others. I mean, but
There are functions where it's
Right.
Yeah.
apparently paradise.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about the construction for parity which actually exists for circuit. But typically the construction for parity, circuit for parity, the way they go about doing this is we have parity on handles. Instead, what we do is construct complete parity. Parity of parity. Right. And 2-bit parity, you can convert it to and then pause. So that's going to give you. Yeah, you can play with these parameters, these parities, and then
Yeah, something like convert a parity of root n, right? It's associated with the thing, right? So you convert a parity of a certain depth W into a DNN of size P to the W.
yeah,
And you choose, for example, W to be root n. Or something like this, right? That this should give you that degree circuit, right? If you do root n, then the parity of with root n, you can do it in with a DNF of size P to the root n, right? Now you compose two of these or a CNF, right? You compose a DNF with a CNF, and now you have a that three circuit of size roughly to the root n for parity, which matches now the lower bound with the root n.
yeah. So again, if you're looking at depth 3, the difference between formula and circuit will not, you'll not be able to notice much because at depth 3, I mean, whether this D is a constant or the depth 3 is on the depth, I mean,
Okay. Also, so why is this an actual proof?
sorry,
Why is this an actual proof?
why is this a natural proof? Okay. Yeah, probably what I'm going to define next, criticality. That is the property. So random function has
So I actually know the answer to that problem, but so as I understand the answer is, well, take the following property. You have a function such that if you fix any, n by 2 bits of the input to anything, or n minus 1 into this parity. Now maybe you want to do for random function. So let's say take a function such that if you fix the first n by 2 bits, the function is not constant. Yeah. This is the property, right? And you can actually decide this property in the time of the truth table, right? Because you get every stepping of n by 2 bits, and that's not much larger than the number of inputs. So the size of the truth table. So you can check if a function has this property, and a random function will have this property that if you fix any n by 2 bits, the function is not constant.
So, all we need here from parity this property.
Right, and that
I think it's very
what? Oh, the decision tree. Oh, I see.
this also should. That's an assembly to the station.
Oh, you're saying you also need that it doesn't have small decision. Well, that's.
That follows
This effect follows. So no matter how you fix and when you think it's not possible.
So that's.
So you're saying that the decision tree property is here, yes. Oh, you need, I guess you need that, so.
I think this.
Because then you could say after some law, and then right, because you need to say that no matter how many. If I fix and I can vary the decision tree. Which by changing the variable is the good. Okay, and that's, yeah, I think that's one.
Yeah, that's one application of this lemma. So another, there is only one more application that related to group. I hope the definition of this
You say the proof or you shows Hastad proof? Prahladh proof?
no, I'll show Hastad and then
And then what?
yeah, and yeah. And Rossman's entropic switching lemma is based on this and actually the way it's yeah, so another thing, so these are worst case flow bounds. You're saying at the end of this, all you're saying is, I mean, if you take any circuit of size less than this number, it will differ with parity on this. And now we can ask, okay, are there circuits which probably I'm fine if it differs with parity on 10 inputs, but yeah, are there circuits which compute parity correctly on all but 10 inputs? Or all but 1/4 fraction of inputs, right? Turns out that is also not possible, and you can do such average case hardness bounds using switching lemma. So I'll just show an application of that kind. Okay. Yeah, so let me define something called correlation. Okay, probably this is not the correct correlation, but yeah, the correlation will get two functions. But it's F and D. So we're interested in the possibility that we're interested in the fraction of inputs where F and G differ. Sorry? X is from uniform. Yeah, so we're interested in the fraction of inputs where this will or yeah. Yeah, assuming this is the remnant of correlation.
Like a non-correlation. This should be like non-correlation.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of bias away from that.
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
What that's what you want to say?
Yeah.
But then it's like the sum right here. The sum of x is 1, yeah.
Oh, so okay, you wanted to go from -1 to 1?
Yeah. I didn't want to do all that, but yeah, so if you assume that F is definitely a function from the domain probably
Well, no, it's put -1 to the power of x, keeping both. Right.
yeah, or if I'll just them to so formulation is just right.
So now you're replacing like the 0 by 1, 1 by -1.
Sorry, I should have been more organized. And these guys have seen this before, so that I mean, even if I'm not doing a good job, they'll follow it.
But yeah, if f of x is equal to g of x, it's like 1. If f of x is not equal to g of x, it's -1. And then you're taking the expected value overall. If they're both the same function, it's always 1. They're always different, it's -1. If they agree half the time, it's 0.
Yeah, so let's see. Let's call this agreement probability. Yeah, what is the probability of agreement? It's the probability that when you pick a random x. I mean, another way of thinking about it is look at the two tables of F, look at the two tables of B, look at how many places they differ. That is what this agreement property is.
Well, we agree to the number of places that are
Very
fine.
Anyway, excellent. Okay. Yeah, famous. Yeah, so here we said DNS requires size 2 bar and -1 to compute paradigm. So suppose like I give you size 2 bar and -2 DNS. How well is it going to compute paradigm? Right. My claim is yeah. We have a bit WDNF or another way of equivalent way of doing it is
Very
so with WDNFs do barely better than answering a random bit. Or that is the claim. And I am trying to say that using the switching lemma like statement, you can prove correlation norms. And this is actually a template. I mean, So this is just the simple case where you can.
Is it directly from that statement or something similar to that?
Yeah, so I just keep this statement alive. Alive as this.
Oh, that's, because, okay, so I don't actually see how to prove that the NF requires that time without using the switching back. Because I can easily see it for decision trees, for DNS, then it's not a question.
Oh, why DNS requires as to for animation? Okay, okay. Okay, let's see. The DNS, look at if any of these guys become a one. Yeah. Then the whole thing becomes one.
Okay.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, if any of them become a one, if any of these hands become, you'll probably be blocking them. Then the whole thing becomes a one. Right? Suppose this were to compute, suppose this has a
Oh,
less than and minus one,
there's some guy that has a 3 bits, like,
there's a 3 bit.
and then the 3 bit will set the parity to 0.
Alright. Right, so that means the width of each of these guys has to be n minus n, each of the width of each of them has to be. When width is 1, they can only cover 1 input, 0 input. And you have to cover 2 power n minus 0 inputs.
1.
1 input. Yeah, so right. So let's work with this agreement definition. Yeah. So we'll get a different probability that f of x equals to x is sample uniform. So how will I write this? Here is I from 1 to b. First I'm going to sample a random restriction from margin. Right? And then I'm going to sample an x or a z from the start of row. So first sample a row. There are some variables which are stars. Right? And for the star variables, you sample a uniform assignment. So when you think of uniform sampling of the input in this way. Now I'm going to ask now we look at two cases. One is if we get to go is yeah, this P will be 1 by W or 1 by 2W or 20W. I mean, everything is, I mean, the idea is to make this 1 by 2 or 1 by 20. So we'll always be using 1 by this. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be sampling go from. So that's what is that? Yeah, the two cases are that is greater than n by 2 and that is less than okay. Right. So this is going to happen with switching lemma is going to tell you that this is going to happen with a small probability. And whereas in this case, if depth is small, indeed small, it's a hat. Yeah,
Can
it's a
only
hat.
go back.
This
Very reducible.
in this case, this is a very short designated tree, and on a long, it cannot compute back. And in fact, on each leaf of the designated tree, it's going to get wrong on half ends. So, yeah, so again, you can put a conditioning and then do all the tricks and all that. Essentially, it's going to be half and come from there and
Due to the minus and factor of
to the, yeah, whatever. And where W is going to come from this. This is from the switching.
that's the probability that F doesn't reduce.
Yeah.
F that reduces.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's how we get it. Again, this is all very simple, but that's the big idea. Yeah, that's a couple of applications for switching lemma. One worst case bound and one average case bound. Yeah, this good idea will use to it. Okay. Now I realize everything and I try to do switching lemma.
Start from the bottom actually. Wait, okay, you turned the sonots. Let me skip that. All right. Yeah. It's like slightly closer, like, and I see the tip of it. Slightly closer. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, now what I'm going to do is will be independent of what we've done before. You can start, right?
Now I'm gonna prove the switch on.
Okay, let's recall. Probably that basically that problem was small bit again greater than P. And two we can going to do is from Hastad recent paper, recent I mean 2014 paper. So the original book was messy and nobody wanted to read it. It was never got an answer. Yeah. And then Hastad tried to do a multi-switching lemma, which was messier. And in order to simplify that, it's had to simplify this, and that gave a very easy. So yeah, it's a very small. It will essentially be an induction on the Suppose we are. Yeah. Because of functionality is in that R type 2 is the CNI. So we just be inducting on the number of hands or will be inducting on a hand. The proof is just inducting on a hand. Yeah, so let's do something which will not work. Okay. So let's take two cases. This one is C1, C2. Yeah. This one has C1 if you go example 1 and case where okay. So if C1 if you C1 becomes 1 under row, you have a smaller formula, right? And whose width is W, and induction is going to give you that this one for right? And yeah, but the problematic case is this one. So yeah, so
This will fix all the variables.
yeah, so in order for what does it mean for this to be not on? The variables here are either set to star. The literals here are set to star. Right? Yes, if any of them are set to 1, we are in this state. Let's write this more formally. Follows event E. No, the writing this over again and again. So I'm just yeah. We know that this guy is bounded by induction hypothesis. Right? And if we somehow manage to bound this guy value also by phi W or T, we're done. Why is that? Yeah, this is one of the one, and it's a common. Okay, so yeah, so now yeah, so the problem is to But we don't have much in this. This is where the genius of Hastad comes in. We define this new mode of downward closed set of restrictions, which comes and sweeps everything. I mean, this one definition, this makes it makes the induction possible.
What's that? What's behind what?
A downward closed set of restrictions. Yeah, I'll just do it. So we know what a restriction is. To map one variables to 0, 1 star. So what is some restriction? Or rather, rho prime, this is no restriction of rho. Rho prime is a prime layer. Second one, star variable.
One is more defined than both.
Yeah, rho prime is more refined. You are setting some more stars to be. Then you say rho prime is less than. So this defines the partial order on this. Right? And yeah, you have a set of restrictions.
It's inclusion of something.
The closure. It's
Inclusion of something. Boolean something.
inclusion of. Right. Yeah. Partial input is a subcube and yeah, F is a set of restrictions. When you say that it's downward close, F is downward close. Wow. If you go to then all rho prime has been rho, particular rho is near everything which is below that. In other words, the restriction is near every further restriction of it is also. That's the definition of what I was saying. Now, instead of trying to prove this, we strengthen the induction method, strengthen the induction methods. So the statement will be trying to do this. And I need to find a good coming from the top. I will create this. The game is for any arbitrary downward closed set F, okay. If you consider this probability, I'll just reuse this. So instead of doing that statement, we are trying to do a strong statement. And note that, yeah, let's look at some properties of downward closed sets. So, to look at the kind of all restrictions. That is downward closed set. Right? F is a downward closed set. F2 downward closed and the internet traffic is downward closed. These are some nice properties which we will do. Yeah, in particular, once you do this statement, you invoke it with that downward closed set, and you have what you need. Yeah, so
That statement should have so this is like RP condition on. It's still RP, but we're conditioning on rho n.
yeah, it's like, yeah. You're sampling from RP, condition on this, I mean, or we can think of it as getting of it in terms of sampling. You are doing a resection sample.
Yeah.
Now, this is sample from RP. If it's not from this, so
It's not uniform over F.
it's not.
But
It's not uniform order. No,
Oh,
it's not uniform order.
oh,
unless P is equal to half. Oh no, either.
I see, it's like conditioning this condition.
Again, let's go through this whole dance again. So we look at these two cases again. The case when yeah, the case when T1 becomes 1 when this. Note that this is a downward close. Oh, sorry. Previously, we probably like that. You have your C1 here. If some expression is negative 1, setting more variables is not going to change.
So row being such that a clause is set to 1, is the set of all rows that set a clause to 1 is a downward closed set. Yes.
Whereas this is not a downward closed set.
This, there is a set of all rows that don't secure, because if you set more variables, you could now have one of the literals, which was 3, is now 1, and so over is now clause that doesn't set 3, 1 to 1, right? But there are 3 literals, say in C, right? And now if you set them, you could force the clause to be 1 where you hadn't.
Right. Yeah,
Okay, so that's not a.
it's not a downward closed. What do we do? The nice idea here is, yeah, this is not a downward closed set. Maybe you can partly connect into downward closed sets. Or and on each downward closed set, you can apply this. Okay. That's what potentially the group is going to do. Yes, I think this C1 is not set to 1 by row. That means after applying row to C1, there are some star variables left in C. Okay. Let's call that that means there exists a subset Q in and there exists an assignment phi. So F prime is just so you have this point. So F prime is easily. So suppose row is not setting this to 1, there must be some of Q, right, of variables in Q1 which are star. And there should be an assignment to variables in Q of these variables such that the descriptive depth of F prime is to row with the. Suppose this did not happen. For all assignments of Q, the descriptive depth of F restricted to row became smaller than T minus 1. Okay. Then you would have gotten a descriptive of depth less than T for F.
For that Q, and then you run the corresponding.
Query variables in Q, complete binary tree, and apply and plug in these decision trees at each of the leaves. Since for each assignment is smaller than T minus Q, you would have gotten.
Right, so you're saying that in the conjunction of these three events, decision tree depth of F conditional row is given T. C1, the clause is not fixed C1 by row and rows in F, implies that there exists some set Q of variables in the first clause, which are stars in row, and there's an assignment of Q that causes this. I mean, where we use that C1 is not 1. Oh, that there's some free, is that it? There's some free variables.
Yeah. This Q is not.
What if it wasn't?
Sorry?
What would happen if it is empty? Why would
If Q was empty, you would have done this.
Or yeah, but this argument doesn't require Q to be empty, to be non-empty. So I think statement.
Right, so because the assignment is set T1 to 0, right? And there's no free variables in T1.
Yeah.
I mean, Q could be anything as far as I'm concerned, but.
Yeah.
Not 1?
No, 0.
Oh, if it's 0, then the decision tree depth is already 0 because the
No.
Okay, so what is the exact logic being followed here?
Yeah.
This is a claim that you're making.
I want to say, I want to exclude one assignment which makes the entire formula entire clause zero.
Okay.
This has to power not two assignments. I just want to exclude that one assignment which sets the variables in Q such that the entire thing becomes. You have even here. There are variables from Q which are stars.
Yeah.
The other letters are set to zero. That is the reason it survived. C1 survived. If any of these were set to 1, it would have. Yeah, there are stars from Q and everything, every other letter is set to 0. If all these guys are also set to 0,
then the function collapses automatically to 0.
yeah, then the entire function collapses to 0.
And of 0. Okay, so if Q is non-empty, then there are at least two assignments to Q, and therefore their existent assignment would be that claim is fine. You don't need to exclude the alternatives because
Right.
it's a their
Yeah,
existence.
yeah,
It's a their existence.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
so that's why Q has to be not. So Q is not. So if Q is empty, then either the function is 1, in which case you're done. I mean the C1 is 1, in which case you're done. Or C1 is 0, in which case also you're done. So we only need to look at non-empty.
Okay.
So you're saying that the decision is larger than P and the cause has been set at 1. Well, then it can't have been set to 0, right? Because if it has been set to 0, then the entire function is 0. Right? Because of the first decision. And so in case of this. Okay, so if it hasn't been set to 0, then it means, or 1, then it means that there's stars there. Is that it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now we claim that there has to exist a subset of the stars and an assignment of this subset that causes the decision tree of F prime to still be somewhat large. Okay. Otherwise, it would mean that
I don't want a subset of.
it's the entire, it's all of, right? So for Q, the set of stars in the clause, there has to exist an assignment that makes F prime at least large, still somewhat large, right? Because if for all assignments of this set of stars, the decision tree depth of F prime is small, then so would the decision tree depth of F. That I, yes, oh, I see. Okay, good.
Yeah, so. I just want to upper on this.
What?
Yeah. No, I'm going to run over all.
People Q would depend on rho.
There exists a Q.
There exists Q. which depends on role.
And I'm interested in the probability that there exists a queue and there exists an assignment such that this happens. So there exists a queue, there exists a file. Is the bounding this probability along this problem?
Inverse probability. What's the inverse probability? So now separate the cases of all possible Q implies. Because fixing Q to pi is a downward closed set of restrictions. Right? Is that the point?
Right.
Actually, sum over all Q and pi, and now the probability that this is bigger than this. No, and the Q and the variables of C1 intersect the stars of the thing is Q. Right, and right, and I'm guessing F prime, which we haven't said yet, but F prime is conditioned not just on row, but also on setting the values of Q to pi.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's.
I see. So now this is the probability that this is bigger than T, given that. Now given that. You might claim for any row for which this is true, there exists, well, for this set Q, there is an assignment that causes this to be big.
Right, now,
Wait, and this pi, so this pi now is the assignment, right? It doesn't, it's. Right, so pi can be chosen to be the X for actually least assignment that causes this to be big, right? So pi actually only depends on row. And right.
yeah, I depends on growth. I mean, yeah, you can further throw in like graphically things and say that pi is unique. But this is all we're going to do. So, I mean, are you convinced that this is upper bound and
So we're like we're breaking this probability into chunks, right? Each Q and pi will give you one chunk, one such chunk.
Right.
So actually, when you say the probability of row, now this row, you take it as conditioned on the Q and the pi that you got.
Right.
So before the row was conditioned on being an F, and this particular event that the clause is not fixed. But now you break this particular event that the clause is not fixed by the these.
We're looking at the rows which for which this happens and this happens.
Right. And the point is that right. And the point is that this family of rows, but now it's row pi, right? It's not just row. The family of right. So now your family.
This is good.
Right, but now your family of full set of restrictions is the set of rows composed with pies. I mean, what's your calligraphic F, right?
Yeah. So
Calligraphic F.
I'll do that.
No, calligraph F is arbitrary.
We're not invoking.
No, I know it's arbitrary, but what's the new one to which you will apply the induction hypothesis?
Yeah.
That's
So your domain is also simple. So this is no longer a function of all n variables. I mean, f prime restricted to pi is a function on variables which are not in the. Okay, I'll just add one more step.
No, I thought that you take the new calligraphic F to be the set of row lines. Oh, oh no, I guess I didn't fix this. I've asked. Oh, so.
I mean, this is and of this two. I mean, this doesn't still look like our index map. We'll have to factor in this.
No.
Can't you just take calligraphic F to be the set of row lines? You know, row after pi, row.
Right. Right. You're fixing a cube and a pi.
Right.
And
now your calligraphic set F will be set of all restrictions of the form row, where row is the previous set, composed with pi, where composed with pi for that particular pi. Right, it's a set of all restrictions row such that the stars of row in the clause 1 or 2 composed with pi, where pi is whatever it is. Is that it?
yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And now we have argued that this is a downward closed set, right? And why is it downward closed? Well, because it's the intersection of two downward closed sets, namely the previous set and the set of all restrictions that's equal to pi on 2.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, but
Okay, you write it down.
yeah, I was. Right, this far.
Well, that's an end, in fact, it doesn't use.
Sorry?
Oh, that's an end, right? In fact, it does a conditional.
Yeah,
And
that's
then have its sum. Okay, excellent.
This I would rewrite as that. So I factor these two. And yeah, these two conditions in the first term, it's drop the.
These are all. This is. Oh, it's. Oh, wait, huh? So now. So now you have 5. 5p.
Yeah, so
5p
Yeah,
better.
going to give you 5p level. Yeah, and so this itself is not a downward closed set.
Right, the set of rows such that the set of stars in the first clause is Q is not a downward closed set, because I could set more stars and then stop happening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you can think of this as a function on
No, but
for non-heuristic.
Huh?
You can think of f receptor to this function on
all
minus
on smaller than
and now what? Okay. So now you need to project that.
yeah, you can split this probability as for sampling the Q guys and then sampling the rest, and then for each setting of the Q's.
All right, so I mean, wait, no, nothing. What? Oh, right, so, okay. So what's the distribution on the road now? So I saw that now row is chosen as follows. The new row is actually on the variables of Q, you set it to 5. Okay. And on the variables outside Q, you choose it with probability P. As you,
That's not a part of
that's a dominant closed set.
it's a downward closed set, but now your probability is not over an RP kind of random. So if you think of your random restriction as coming from some distribution, Q should not be involved with that.
Also, then you're saying that when I think of this as a function, a partial function, I fix some of it. Okay, right.
He also changes.
Wait, but then F, right? The F could have constraints on the variables of P.
You have constraints on the will be down. If you fix those, like it's like a subset of that that's downward. Because it's like but it's not as
Oh, okay. So now you're saying that my new F prime is the set of rows that are in F, which is equal to 5 with Q. And I think of this as a subset of restrictions on F prime with 1 time.
that would be minus. But there's like a smaller fraction of variables that are getting set. Because there's a smaller number of variables. But the marginal would still be equal probability 0 and with some other probability p, and with some other probability star, but that other probability would be. And you're still getting a random restriction format, but with a different, say, a different p.
Why do you want to do
So now your random restrictions are on n minus q.
Yes, but each variable is still goes to start with probability p and fully the rest independent.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And why? I mean, this 5PW, I'm understanding.
Yeah, by this point, use this. We are working with a fixed Q and pi.
I think I'm okay so far with the idea that the first factor is that most 5PW to the P minus 7.
Okay.
I think that maybe carefully.
Yeah.
So why is the second one at most 5PW?
Right, that is okay. Normally in a RP restriction, if you did not have this. Okay. If you did not have a government closure conditioning manner, you're just pointing at key variables in C1 and asking what is the probability that it's two variables on top.
Right, but you like P to the
With the power
side of Q minus 1 minus B to the W minus side of Q. Right.
But now, since you have, I mean, now the bits are not sampled independently because there is a down. You still want to prove a P power not Q wrong on this. That's what, yeah.
It's more than that. It's not the same bound that you want to prove, right? Because
Yeah.
there's 1 minus B to the W minus side of Q thing that has disappeared.
That will bound it by one.
Oh. Okay, so Okay, all right.
Yeah. So the idea is, for every, yeah, for every row set that, half of row, there is it's Q, you can define this set and not row. Which is row prime, like that row prime begins with row outside Q. Essentially, it's just you take a row and set variables of Q for all possible settings of Q, variables in Q, you get elements of Q. So given a row such that that particular row has a you can define a set of restrictions. Which is that these are the variables in Q and these are all stars. The programs are all
we could have.
setting some subset of these stars to those ones.
Okay, that's right.
That is exactly. This is another versus that. And row prime and row is the outside. Inside will be same as row, could be set to 0 to 1s. So the first thing to note is compare the probability masses row and
Probably. So.
yeah, you get a for each subset of variables in Q, you get a no, that's
Yeah, so this is like the total, all the probabilities, including row and its neighbors. When restricted to the set of row and its neighbors. So the probability of row should be like 1 minus p to the q times. So row is the one which has stars in all of Q.
right.
So you can just restrict yourself to those coordinates in Q.
Right.
And row is the one case when everything is stars. Neighbors of row is everything else.
Right.
So the probability of row should be around 1 minus p to the q fraction of that whole space. Or is it p to whichever it is?
Right.
So it should be p to q.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes. So you think the probability of rho is t to the q times something?
Yeah, and the probability of the rest of it will be
Something?
so it's p to the q divided by 1 minus p to the q by q divided by. No, not the whole. Just 1 minus, and then the next term is p to the q. It's not 1 minus p whole to the q. It's 1 minus p to the q. I think it becomes. So you're saying rho is p to the q times something, and probability of neighbors of rho is 1 minus p to the q times something. So the ratio would be this.
Oh. So
Neighbors of row could include rows.
Oh, it could also include rho?
Yeah.
Oh, so then, yeah. Just the numerator.
sorry, I'm not. What? So the probability of rho is t to the q times something, the probability of the rest of the things, right? And now you're asking what's the probability of this n and of rho, of being an n of rho. And now you're saying that it's, well, something. Oh, I see. It's something, right? It's the rest. It's the probability of having the rest. I agree with it. Okay, good.
Yeah, so. And now the thing is that for each different row in this set, is n rows are distinct. In
Every row in which set? Or in that.
rows like that.
Oh, and row, okay, yeah. I see. Right, for any two rows which satisfy that condition, the only place they can be different is outside C1. If you have two rows that are same outside C1, usually outside Q. How much they different?
And finish the argument and then we'll come back to this.
Right.
Yeah, so the idea is that we have this bunch of rows which are interested in rows which satisfy this. And you're interested in bounding the mass of the rows besides this. For each such row, we produce a set. Right. If row is in your F, this n of row is also in your F.
Yes.
Right. So if you want to sum up all the nice rows, then the denominator is going to have all the neighborhoods. You're interested in probability that row belongs to good. By
Just like that. Just like that. Yes, we're ignoring the not equal one thing.
Um,
Well, the not equal one thing has been replaced.
no, that's only.
All right.
Wait, Q is not in, right?
Yeah,
All right, once you've said, see, yeah.
yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, so for each point, the whole, there is an inverse sitting here.
There's n of those.
Right. And the mass of a row is smaller compared to the mass of an row. By how much? By a factor of p power minus the p power mod q.
You're claiming that all of the n rows are disjoint.
Yes.
Oh,
You have a bunch of rows in your top, bunch of rows in your top. They could be some extra stuff. This building is going to be longer by.
Where is the 5W coming from?
They're the summations.
It's not a summation, right? It is a convex sum.
No, there's some.
No, sure, but it's a convex sum because the probability of them is strong. Which brings Q. Okay, I need to find.
No, this is the linear normal.
For the same one.
What Q when compared to strength, I doesn't seem to be.
You're the strength not that high.
Like Q is different because your probability also said and Q is equal to this value. So it cannot be for two different property statements, the same Q cannot apply.
Okay.
But for pi, you're just saying that if I add pi to a row, my decision tree depth is still large. You can see why that can't appear with multiple rows.
Okay. And can't I?
But maybe that was not maybe even two, because multiple pi rows can be the same. You can bring the other direction.
That's a civil analysis. Further figured into and this is our one by the
Which the summation over all those.
Yeah.
Okay.
R is coming from
Double.
or even one.
Right, I see like the end those are the strength, because they are different outside of the two. Okay, so they're destroying, and that's good, and that's like good. So I read that most p to the q, and now what you say is that there's not that most 5w to the q. Maybe
W to R, where R is the side of Q. The group all Q's of side R.
or but yeah, right. So it's W to the oh no, this one. It's W, yeah, W to the I. Right? W to the side of Q. W to the side of Q. Right, so how many terms do you have? Right, so this sum overall, let's say R, right? So, and then you have how many Q's? You have the W to the side of Q. Yeah. W to the side of Q, and how many pi? Right? Well, 2 to the right. Good. And now, okay, good. But now, if you do the product of that with that and that, you get, I don't see why it's a pi.
No, I guess the 5 will. All right.
No, yeah, this constant, how do we balance? That's probably not a five.
Oh, okay. I see with it as a with the two, right? Then now,
We're using 5 from the induction hypothesis, which is probably a good reason to keep it for the next induction hypothesis. That's 5. But I don't know where the 5 originated.
no, sure. If it originates from here, then we see. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anywhere else. Right. You just point done, right? Because now you have W term. You have W term, right? So it's another times double. Oh, no, wait. No, actually, you know, like, W choose size of Q, W choose R. Is actually at most W to the R minus one. Yeah.
This is probably.
That's wrong. Why is it wrong?
Let's see. Okay,
Oh, because the other condition is not.
no. If you have a rule point such that I star of Q are set in the point. Right, then you have obviously the point by 1 minus Q. I. If you have a row line such that I variable I star variables of row are set by row line, then this is what it is. Right. Or rather, and when you for each subset of for each subset of variables of Q, you have
Yeah, that's the number of guys, the number of row line.
that's the number of
Fine.
times the value is the number of row lines. You choose a subset and then you have
Yes.
and
Are you estimating the probability of n of growth?
yeah.
Yeah.
And all of these guys have mass.
Okay, oh, the probability of this is. Again. So the two kind of, right?
That's yeah, so.
I didn't see the problem. I think that was correct.
I think yeah. It is correct, right? So there might be a problem with the definite banana.
Is it definitional?
And Okay, so here for a given row, we are setting the variables into arbitrarily to zeros and ones and obtaining elements of an row. I think that probably is not right. You only set them to set those variables to set those variables to I think it's zeros or one.
Oh, because, oh, yes, you can only set them to 0, yes, of course, because otherwise. Yes, but exactly what guarantees that, the function doesn't become 1, right?
Yeah.
So you have this extra.
Yeah. And those set of rows that you either leave the variable to the star or set it to a zero.
Or set it to a 0. Right?
It is.
0.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, good. Right. So there's this 2 to the I that is appearing that doesn't appear. I think that's right. Can you write it again then? It doesn't simplify. That's where you get 1, 2, and I guess the other thing you get from there or something like that. And then you write a little bit power for good measure. And so we'll be over. Yes. Now you're in the lower bounds, right? So you see the green. We got plus.
Where we look at it is probability of row. The probability of row is smaller than the probability of
It's more than minus there in the plus.
this comes up to this is the
Oh, I see everything. Oh, I see.
binomial expansion of
Oh, there's a 1, there's a 1, there's a 1. This one, there's a 1.
there's going to be
1 plus the second. Right, and that's 1 plus over to the, okay, good. All right, so the probability of row is smaller than
probability of n row.
that's 1.9.
More key with this.
Which is
Okay, now you have again going back to this thing. You have row belongs to good. Probability row,
yes.
and you have this set is cluster of what we have in ground method. And so the whole thing will be about
And this 1 plus b with this 2 with the other 2, you can simplify. And one plus 2.
1 plus p is some 2p by 1 plus p. 2 by 1 plus p is like, let's say
Almost 2. Oh no.
almost 1.
Okay.
I mean, we only care about between 0 and 1. Just need to check at 0 and 1.
No, this P is fine. P is like. P is a probability of this, or make this fine. So most one. No, I mean, but it's fine. I mean, you can assume it's the most equal to 0, right? So the right upper bound for that is 2. Right? 2 by 1 plus P is say almost 2.
Oh, you're putting the 2.
If we as close to 2 as right? So let's read, there you get a 2, and there you get another 2, it's supposed to. Okay, should be 4 then.
Then you can even get into it. 2p by 1, 2p is always less than 1 plus 3. You can 0 1. 1 plus p has a head start. They both meet.
Sure, but you don't want to replace. You want that to be something small to the power cube. Right?
Yeah, so
That's at most 2p to the power cube. That's small.
oh, that's why you
2p to the power cube. Right, and this 2, right, and this 2 multiplies with that 2. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess you can get a 4. Now I don't see where you get a 5. So right, so I think this WR, you could pretend that it's actually WR is 1.
Wait, what?
WR minus 1. I'll tell you why. But you can't know because it's actually what a cube to W, right? Which is like a Q by E to the power W.
So in the case when like R is really small, that would not be true. But then I guess we don't care about the small cases much.
So it is okay. So maybe so no, fine. Look, yes. Okay. I'll tell you what and why you get the 5. The 5 is like okay, that's right. So this 2 and this W, right? So they go here, and this becomes 4p times q. Because
Yeah.
4p times q, right? So then I have, okay, great. Now this 4p times q is gonna, I mean, we're almost there, right? Like this 5p and times 4q. But here's the thing, you have double terms here. So you need to multiply by double. Making your other. For no, not 4p, I'm missing, I'm forgetting about 4p w. Right, but now I have w here. Then I'm left hanging because I have. Isn't that right?
So you have summation for PW to the cube as cube goes from 0 to W. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I have double terms, and all of them are most split. Well, you know, six most fine. For reasonable. That's true. Is that where the 5 comes from?
Okay, that's probably not, I mean, upper bounding this by W times 6 is not probably right. Yeah, where the 5 comes from is from the value optimization, but I think.
Oh, that's you know.
But it's in this place. That's
Huh?
I mean, I can almost see this dangling W.
Okay.
See, it's a geometric sum, right?
This is good. It's no, this is still Hastad, but it's a reason. It's a reason. What was the difference?
Yeah, yes.
This is the proof that I read long ago.
Yeah, it's not TIFR group, just that I was stuck in the calculation of it.
Sure.
But
You know, okay, so let's buy it like somehow. I don't know. All right, let's say that now there's this term, but we somehow fix the term by making 4 or 5 somehow. Say. And then it's there. So, okay, what's happening actually?
so yeah, so let's recap. So the idea is, I mean, the main idea is the proof are, okay, you want to upbound the probability that the derivative depth is large. Instead, you work with a stronger hypothesis by using the output.
But why?
What that biases is, it allows us to evoke induction. Downward pressure, without downward pressure, we are not able to evoke induction.
No, sure. But no, I guess what I'm asking is, what's happening, when I say what's happening, it's not like, why do the different formal ingredients in the proof combine to make a proof that I can validate? What I'm asking is, where does it come from, right? Well, is there any intuition that would give me a glimpse of why, if I managed to get this intuition, I could have come to this idea of how to prove? Because I also have, you know, like this proof, I mean, the person who came up with the proof certainly had some insight, which apparently is not very obvious when you look at the formal final product. Right? But what I'm trying to understand always when I read the proof is, can I understand what that insight was? And it depends, often people write proofs without giving them, which is very sad. Right, you know, like, you know, so don't just, like this, I have this like almost aesthetical issue with how people write proofs nowadays, because where they write this, and when they do this, you are like, relate to the role of mere verifier of some calculation, right? And the computer can verify your calculation, right? So why, right? So what did Hastad understand when he came up with this proof that he hadn't understood before? You know, like that's just not. I don't have a mental image with why it comes up.
It's all happening in the neighbors of a row.
Hmm.
Each of those is a nice subcube that has unique features. And that covers apparently the not collapsing to one. No. You want to use C not collapsing to one in a nice structure.
So you think it's like he's looking at the DNA and he's trying to understand. I mean, because I guess the basic intuition that I still carry with me about this switching lemma is just a very vague one. Of course, you need more than that, but it's just like, well, if you have an and and you choose a random thing, you know, it will collapse. If you have an or, this is also true. So wave your hands and it must happen for a DNF. But there's something else that's happening for the DNF. And I really like, because I'm going to have to teach this year, so I really like to understand. You see, so what is it that you have to see beyond that to grasp what's happening in all of this?
I think Erasmus proofs is less opaque.
Okay,
Yeah, there you can see what's happening,
all right.
but
So can I suggest that we continue? Can we continue Tuesday?
Yeah.
Can we suggest that, because it's like 5, and then we have matter. Just maybe another time. So, okay, but then we have to kind of, you know, so we have to coordinate a little better. Because you're leaving,
But I'll be on Zoom.
but you could be on. Right. So then we can continue choosing the maybe. Would that be good for you all? Guys, given that I mean Thursday I'm not here, so So Tuesday and maybe next. week. That sound good? Because, I mean, okay, so I've seen this proof and. You know, I kind of see the clever idea, this lower thing, but you know, I really like the intuition of what's happening.
Yeah, yeah, why don't we download tables is the right notion?
Yeah, so like, you know, so I'm thinking about this problem. And what could be my mental path to conclude that, oh, maybe downward flows, you know, like. Hastad had a moment like that, right? And he was trying something, the things that maybe he didn't write into this paper, what he was trying. And this has to do with what people write papers. Right, so let me just put this. Enrique, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, so next Tuesday, we do it again.
Yes.
I hope you get better.
I'll be
So-
there.
right, cool.
Thank you.
So stop recording.